guys, so I wanted to do one final roll call, if you will, to find out exactly what happened after the last night of the full moon. So if you look at the full moon, the 3 days, so you have your first night of like 99%, your one night of like 100%, and then your third night of 99%. So this is the 3 days, and what I ended up doing was I put salts outside in the moonlight and the sunlight, and of course water in the moonlight, and I put a little bit of salt the first day, a little bit more the second day, and then the big one the third day, because this would be tracking that which I released, what came to the light, and then that night during the full moon, I would release that which was released the day before again, and then the salt in the water brings clarity. So, and I was doing this every day. This is not something I've done before in the past. It was kind of like a try it and see kind of thing. And then I corresponded with the energies the next day through the tarot and through like what I would, I don't want to say go through throughout the day, but understand throughout the day, like the things that would happen, that which comes to me is meant to. So if it comes to my attention, it's something that I'm drawn to. And so these energies that I've pulled out here, I have 4 energies prior to the 3 days of the full moon, the 3 days of the full moon, and then the 4 energies beyond that that are no longer inverted. Okay, so the first row of energies that I came up with, I had a pattern, people, blaringly obvious pattern. 9, 8, 9, 8 are the numbers of the very first 4 cards. We have the 9 of Wands in the reverse, the 8 of Cups in the reverse, the 9 of Swords in the upright, and the 8 of Swords in the reverse. This is the way that they came out, one at a time. Okay? So this is the energy that I was getting from this, okay? I'm going to put this as past, release, future, or new version, maybe? Like rebirth. There you go. Okay, so in this past energy, I feel the cycle, right? This is a 9-8, 9-8, 9-8, 9-8, 9-8. Okay, so this is like you're almost there, and then you knock back down. Not all the way, but a level, right? So this is a pattern. So you weren't conscious of those patterns. And it's really cool because the very next line shows that you become conscious of them. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, so you would, I'm getting the 9 of Wands is in the reverse because it's kind of like a give up kind of energy. And not necessarily like you just, it's more like there was a fight, but every time you came to a certain point, instead of being able to close out that fight, it was more like you shut it off and then stopped trying to expand or grow in that particular area. It's almost like you reached a point, accepted that as a limit, and then closed the door on it. And then this is why the 8 of Cups is in the reverse. Okay, so you would reach this limit and then say, I just can't handle anymore. But then you wouldn't leave. You would just close the door and ignore it. And that leads into the 9 of Swords energy, because you knew that it was behind the door. You just couldn't bring yourself to open the door. And that which was behind the door was causing you so much pain anguish, anxiety. And it's almost as if you began to not just get used to this pain. I totally understand this energy. When I was before, it was literally like I was so anxious and in flight or fight mode, like so much that it became to the point where like I didn't even recognize how anxious I was until I stopped being able to function. And it was almost as if I started to have this desire, and I was drawn to that anxiety and the pain. It wouldn't go away because I couldn't face it. And it felt like I was trapped. But here's the Eight of Swords in the reverse. Almost like the very first glimmer of it's not a trap. You're not trapped. If you just open that door, it's right there. And so we have 9, 8, 9, 8. Okay, the only thing in this first row that's in the upright is the blaringly obvious anxiety that has been crippling you, making it so you just don't think you can walk away, and that you're just going to have to deal with this, no longer as hopeful that you'll eventually get over it, but that it's just the way that it is, okay? So that's the energy that you were carrying prior to the full moon, okay? And then 3 cards came out in perfect order. So the very first night of the full moon, the Magician's in the reverse. The Magician's in the reverse because it's the realization that you were creating this illusion the entire time. There wasn't anyone else there that was creating this illusion except for you. You were the one that thought you were trapped. And then, no freaking joke, guess what come out next? The 8 of Coins and the 9 of Cups. Day 2, you realize just how much work you've been putting into yourself. Day 3, you finally settle into that feeling of emotional happiness because you realized, yeah, it was a cycle, but you were the one that was holding the key. The only one that was the illusion in your own life was that which you were telling yourself. So what did you gain out of this? My gosh, guys, this is beautiful. The last 4 cards came in the reverse because these are the things that you revealed in the 3 days of revelation, if you will. These are the things that you revealed were inverted in your life. The 4 of Wands, that's stability. That is your root chakra. That is not just stability. That is faith in self, in your firm foundation, not shifting sands. The second is the 2 of Swords in the reverse. You realize you took your own peace away from self. 5 of Cups. You realize that you were lamenting the wrong thing. You weren't allowing yourself to hope, focusing so much on that which was broken, not realizing that the only way to fix that which was broken was to face what was inside of you. Those other 2 cups that are behind you, they're not spilled over, they're overflowing. And then the last one is the Chariot in the reverse. You realize that you were the only one delaying all of this. You realize that you were the brakes, the kibosh, the end, because you were the one that refused to walk away. This is no movement. So, what did you gain? Faith in self, inner peace, gratitude, and very lightning fast. I'm hearing like warp drive, transformation. That's just because I'm a Star Trek fan. Anyway, that's all I had to say to you guys today. I don't know about you, but this has been probably the best full moon for me this whole year, and I have focused on all of them since March. And this one was the most releasing. And I hope that this is your energy too. If not, it's okay. Now you have something to look forward to. Bye, guys.